All right, so when it comes to resolutions, food is usually pretty high on a lot of people's lists. But if you're looking to clean up your act, where do you start? Well, I spoke with a woman behind the food blog, The Trail to Health, Erica Schlick, for ideas. I think that eating healthy is probably the number one thing people are thinking about right now. And it is the start of the new year. People are starting to clean up their acts. But how do you suggest we approach healthy eating in an effective, realistic, and healthy way?
Absolutely. You want to try to keep it as simple as possible and use as many anti-inflammatory foods as you can. So one of my key things, especially in the winter months, is to use your oven. You can roast your meats, you can roast your veggies. It's such an easy way to just put it in a pan, put it in the oven, forget about it. And also eating a lot of healthy vegetables, whether you make them as a salad. So I've got a shaved Brussels sprout salad here. That's something that you wouldn't think to eat raw, but they're actually in season and it's so easy to make and so filling because you're gonna have some avocado in there and the vegetables. So it's all about simplicity to be able to stay on track with your diet. And one of the other things I really like doing is using fresh herbs. So fresh herbs are great for our immune system, which we can all use a little support with this time of year. And it gives your food such a fresh and delicious flavor and just such an easy thing. You can make salad dressings with it. You can top it on your meat, all sorts of things. So those are my kind of key ways to manage the January month of healthy eating.
The fresh herbs really make a difference when cooking. I mean, you can really taste it. And I see that you're growing a pot of them. I cannot keep a fresh herb alive, but sometimes I'll splurge for the fresh herbs at the grocery store because it does make a difference, like you said. But what kind of foods should we think about? You mentioned the beans, but what about meats and roasted veggies?
So I follow the Paleo diet. I use that as an anti-inflammatory diet to keep my autoimmune conditions and Lyme disease in remission. And so making sure you stick to grass-fed meats, wild seafood are going to be a great source of protein. Making sure you try to eat organic. If you can't afford to do all your vegetables organic, I definitely recommend looking into the Clean 15 and Dirty Dozen, which helps you identify what foods to definitely buy organic. And then otherwise, just keeping it really clean and simple. You know, I tend to do more low carb, so you can kind of find your gauge of where you fit, especially, you know, I think cutting out sugar and processed foods and processed carbs like that is really the key. So the more you can eat clean, the more you can eat sustainable foods and healthy foods, you know, very clean oils. You don't want to use a lot of inflammatory oils. You want to stick to coconut oils and extra virgin olive oils, things like that that are really going to help your body, support your body, nourish your body, and fill you up pretty quickly too. That's the thing I find when, you know, you eat nutritious food, you eat clean food, you get full pretty quickly, and it tends to, you know, help with the overeating, especially after the holidays. Whatever happened the past month, it's a good way to kind of reset your body and feel satiated at the same time.
I also find that clean eating really helps with digestion.
Absolutely. So I find for me personally that legumes and grains just do not agree with my body. And it was kind of a learning process to kind of figure out what foods worked and what foods didn't. But I feel such a night and day difference when I stick to more paleo, clean foods, whole foods versus grains and beans and, you know, all the other additives that can make their way into all those different kinds of foods.
Speaking of delicious clean foods, what have you got in front of you there? I am so hungry right now.
So this is a super easy meal. Again, it's using your oven, trying to do everything at the same time. So I have some roasted carrots here, and I've gone ahead and put a little bit of coconut oil and cardamom to give it a really nice flavor. And I do it with my whipped tahini sauce, pistachios, and of course some fresh mint. And I've got a roasted rack of lamb, which might seem like an intimidating piece of meat to cook, but it's so easy. Again, just put some herbs on it, put it in the oven, and, you know, chop it in between the ribs, and you've got a delicious meal, at least probably 2 or 3 maybe. And then I've got the shaved Brussels sprout salad, and this is very simple. It's just shaved Brussels sprouts. It's got some sliced almonds in there and some avocado, but what really ties it together is the dressing. And this is a really important place. It's so easy to buy those store-bought dressings, but making your own dressings is so easy. And, you know, just using a lot of citrus fruit, using some fresh herbs, using that clean olive oil, tying this all together. This is an extremely filling lunch. You know, that's super easy. You put it in your oven, these 2 things cooked at the same time, and that was it.
Yeah, and it seems like it would be a great meal for meal prep if you're kind of prepping your meals at the beginning of the week to get ahead.
Absolutely. And you know, what's nice with doing a lot of the roasted veggies and things like that is you can do a big batch of it and you can keep them. You can put them on salads later on in your week. So there's a lot of versatility. Trying to do things in like one pot, one pan meals are really great. Using your Instapot even, all those kinds of things could just make life so easy, especially as we're all getting back to work and kind of readjusting after the holidays. The easier you can make it, the more you're going to stay on track with eating clean and healthy.
Preach, Erica. I completely agree. Really quickly, how did you get started with your blog and healthier eating?
Well, I was diagnosed with Lyme disease in 2014, and for
honey.
2 years before that, I was sick. I went from doctor to doctor. No one could figure out what it was, and diet was actually one of the first things that I changed. I had also been diagnosed with celiac disease, and so it made such a huge difference in my life, eating clean, eating healthy. I noticed how much inflammation the foods caused, and to this day, I've been in remission for about 2 years now, but I still eat this way. It keeps me healthy, it keeps me energized, and I would never go back to eating another way. So that's how my blog kind of started, my whole journey into healthy eating. And then I wrote my cookbook, which was kind of a celebration that, you know, you can recover from chronic illness and you can use these foods to continue to heal you and help others eat healthy as well.
Well, I'm so glad to hear that you are on the mend and found a way to kind of treat yourself, because it's not just people with celiac disease too. I find that not eating gluten, I just feel better overall and it doesn't hurt my stomach. So Erica, thank you so much for sharing your book and these great tips.
Absolutely.
So for the recipes that Erica shared with us today, just head over to New Day's website and check them out.